This is the drought monitor from December 31st of 2019. You can see some severe droughts, which are those dark oranges for the four corners. A few exceptional drought or extreme droughts, which are the reds, and then the moderate droughts are the light oranges, and yellows are just abnormally dry. It's going to get way worse into the end of 2020, early 2021, because there was not a whole lot of rainfall in especially in the Southwest in 2020. So there will be a few droughts for the eastern United States, but just they're few and far between, and they're really only moderate droughts, so not a huge issue. But you can see, you're about to see the area's high plains starting to get some droughts, some extreme droughts, and then the exceptional droughts, which are those like maroon colors for the four corners, especially Utah, Nevada, and Arizona, noticeable in Colorado, and then there are and Texas, and then even more in New Mexico. And then abnormally dry for many areas still at this point in 2021. Most of the western half of the United States is in some sort of drought. On September 8th, 2020, Denver recorded a record low of 31 degrees. Just 4 days earlier, on September 4th, 2020, on that Saturday, Denver recorded a record high of 101. On Sunday, it got up to 97, and on Memorial Day Monday, it got up to 93. But then just 24 hours later, it was back down into the 30s, with the real feels in the 20s and teens. So this was caused by a cold front. These temperature swings seem to happen a lot in Denver. And a 70-degree temperature swing in 4 days, and over a 60-degree temperature swing in just under 24 hours. These next two pictures are from the New York Times. This one shows the damage, and this one shows the ice on a leaf from the ice storm. You can see in this picture that Oklahoma City got about a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch. Lawton got a 1/4 of an inch to a half an inch, but Enid got over a 1/4 of an inch, almost up to an inch, and then some of those areas south of Enid and west of Oklahoma City got over an inch, possibly up to maybe an inch and a half or 2 inches. From December 15th to the 17th of 2020, a nor'easter hit New York. This picture from upstate New York. These are the snow totals, and you can see that area where that picture probably was taken. In that red is where they saw over 2 feet of snow, but those darker maroons, they saw over 3 feet of snow. Some areas saw almost 4 feet of snow. The highest wind gust in this was in New Jersey at 63 miles per hour. The Colorado wildfire season was a very big one. This is a picture from the Pine Gulch Fire. There was over 625,000 acres burned in total, over 1,000 different fires, $266 million in damage, and 2 deaths overall in this fire season. Of course, the biggest one was the Pine Gulch Fire. Hurricane Delta made landfall on Mexico as a Category 3 hurricane, and then made landfall as a Category 2 on Louisiana. It killed 4 people. Its maximum wind speed was over 140 miles per hour, and when it made landfall on Louisiana, it was a Category 2 with wind speeds around 100 miles an hour. It caused $26 billion in damage, and it was one of many storms that hit Louisiana, the 10th storm to hit the United States of the year. In May 2020, Flooding in Michigan caused 2 dams to break, one on Wixom Lake and one on Sanford Lake. This flooded multiple towns, the largest of which was Midland. These lakes went from being very large lakes with many homes on them to being just small streams. This picture is from the small town of Edenville right after one of the dams broke. As a whole, the 2020 tornado season was not anything special. It had a below average number of tornadoes, but the beginning, especially during March, there were many tornadoes. This picture is from Cookeville, which got hit by an EF4. This next one's from Jonesboro, which got hit twice by 2 different tornadoes in just a couple weeks. This next picture is a map of the tornado warnings and tornadoes from March 2nd and 3rd of 2020. So, yeah, even though the tornado season of 2020 was not huge, the beginning was the main part of the tornado season. Hurricane Isaias went from the Bahamas all the way up to the east coast of the United States, caused considerable damage in areas like Wilmington, North Carolina. And here we can see it started with way down in the Atlantic Ocean and didn't really dissipate until almost the Canadian border. It's caused multiple deaths and injuries. Hurricane Sally formed on September 11th, made landfall near the Alabama-Florida border on the 16th, and dissipated on the 18th. It caused over $7 billion in damage and killed 4 people, and the following storms killed 5. It also made landfall near the Bahamas and a few other Gulf countries. Derecho on August 10th, 2020, swept through parts of the upper Midwest and caused damage, especially in Iowa. In Iowa, 90% of the corn crops were damaged. You can see all those green areas were the areas that are major corn areas, and a lot of them were affected from Iowa, in Illinois, and Indiana. Derecho was 770 miles long, started in Nebraska and ended in Ohio. Multiple tornadoes and 4 deaths, 2 by falling trees, 1 was an electrician by electrocution, and another was by a mobile home tipping over. In 2020, wildfires in Oregon killed 11 people and burned more than 1 million acres. This is a map of the fires that happened in Oregon, and some of them are enormous. The ongoing drought in Oregon was a great fuel for the fire, as many areas affected by fires had severe and extreme droughts. Wildfire smoke was seen as far east as places like the Midwest and the northeastern regions. Hurricane landfall made landfall near Cameron, Louisiana in late August of 2020, causing 47 deaths in all of the countries it affected, and 34 indirect deaths. These pictures from Flickr show some of the damage being cleaned up after the storm. As you can see, it became a hurricane just northwest of Cuba on a Tuesday, became Category 3 on a Wednesday, and made landfall near Cameron, Louisiana as a Category 4 during the nighttime on Thursday. Then it started to dissipate as it moved further inland. You can see its path was very similar to Rita,